Hey, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer with Sports Radio 1250 WSSP, along with Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. Time to talk some Preps basketball, and every time we talk Preps football and it's Racine Case, I smile from ear to ear.
He's a Case guy.
My guy, Coach.
You guys are wearing the wrong apparel.
Yeah, I should be wearing the Case stuff, right? Because Steve Jaskulske joins us now for Racine Case. And I'll tell you something. I mean, you were the team that everybody is obviously picking to win the Southeastern Conference coming in, and probably the most talented team. Gery already has you winning state this year.
Wait a second. Wait a second. You got to be careful coming on this show because you get misquoted at least once a week or taken out of context. I learned in a bad way a couple weeks ago, okay?
When you question whether or not Aaron Rodgers was a man. Right, yeah, sure. But either way, let's talk about Racine Case basketball a little bit, and just really how talented of a basketball team you have right now.
We're deep. We're deep. That would probably be the best thing about our team. We're going about 9-10 deep right now. So, we're able to continue to put pressure on teams, and we have got some good returning players back. So,
talk a little bit about when you've got guys that are playing both ways, basketball and they're playing football as well, because you saw that happen now last year at Case.
Oh, we enjoy that. It's nice to see the kids participate in different sports. We've always I'm an old timer. We always played a couple different sports.
Sure.
Desmond Kirby, one of our kids, he plays 3 sports. He's football, basketball, and he's a state high jumper in track.
Really?
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the kid is, got Division I potential in any one of the 3 sports. You don't get a kid like that, I don't very often.
Do you think there's a difference with those athletes that are playing multiple sports versus those that are maybe being told by their parents or by other people to just be focused on just one sport?
As far as?
Over the course of time as a coach, do you find that those athletes that are playing multiple sports are either more well-rounded or different from those that are just participating in one?
Well, I think the advantage is they can get coaching from a regular regimented program where I can only be with them 5 days in the off season. So, they're getting coaching and disciplined practices for all those sports all year round.
Right.
Whereas if they weren't playing those sports, then they're out there saying, maybe in a weight training program or something. But it's all. I think it's advantageous to have them play at least 2 sports. There's not too many guys that play 3, but
sure.
And for a guy like Darian King, he's a legit football player too.
Yes, he is.
He's getting some offers, some big serious looks from some big time programs in football. So, you don't want to.
CWA want to contact him yet? That's my big time program.
I don't know if they have, but
national champs.
No, but Darian, early on it was primarily basketball, but now I think he's, trying to keep his options open.
Sure.
Interesting. Obviously, if you could get your college paid for, it's something to take a look at. So.
Okay, so besides Kirby and King, and I know Tyrese Pinson played football.
Yep, he played football.
The smallest running back in America.
One of your favorite guys?
Absolutely. I always get a Tyrese Pinson, comment at some point, right? And who else? Anybody else that plays football out of that group?
Malik House played.
Okay.
He's a defensive back. And Javion Scaife Harris, we just got back. He played football. Let's see who else on that team. Trice played until he hurt his knee, and he didn't play this year.
Kevin O'Neill, who used to coach at Marquette, he loved recruiting basketball players who played football.
Sure.
Because he thought it brought an element of toughness to their game. Do you kind of see that with your guys?
Yeah, I agree with that. We're seeing a level of physical play that that brings, the football players bring.
Talk about the last couple of games. You guys have lost 3 straight now?
Yeah.
You guys coming into
We're
this
not
video.
used to that.
I blame Gery Woelfel because since he started talking, you probably just set it up. This has kind of all happened since Woelfel. He's bad luck.
If the Earth stopped revolving, it would be my
His
fault.
fault, right. Absolutely right. But you guys have played some good basketball teams too here.
Well, we planned on playing a non-conference schedule that's really second to nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't anybody that's playing who we're playing, I don't think, on a consistent basis. So.
How do you get the games lined up where you're playing teams that are from out of state, and then how
They
are
asked
you
me
judging
last
how
year.
good they
They
are?
asked me last year when they put this thing on with the
Snow jam and
snow jam, and they said they were bringing in some teams, and they kind of asked us who we wanted to play, and I said, well, whatever teams you're bringing in, give us the toughest team. And
Oh, so you asked for it?
yeah,
then.
we said they were.
All right, well, you got what you wanted.
I agree.
Well, I mean, I watched some of the other games, and we could have, beaten a lot of those teams that came from out
Sure.
of state pretty easily. There were some pretty weak teams from
Okay.
out of state. Just because they're out of state doesn't mean they're good.
Right.
But Archbishop Mitty from California is the real deal. I mean, Aaron Gordon was their guard last year, and he's an
He's an Aaron
I like
Gordon fan.
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
I'm an Aaron Gordon
yeah.
guy,
So it was. I mean, they're a class program. Their big kid was outstanding, and they had good guards, and we were right there. We were 10 for 23 from the line, and we were right there in the fourth quarter, and that game could have gone either way really. We were down 10 at half, came back, scored the first 10 of the half, tied it up, and so we can play with these teams, and that's. You take a risk by playing great teams.
Absolutely.
And, the West De Pere team we played was a very good team. They're Division I, #1 team in the state, I think, or 2 or something.
Yeah.
We had a shot at the buzzer to win that one, and again, we shot horribly from the free throw line. We were 7 for 21.
Whew.
So I mean,
theoretically,
you can't overcome that against good teams. And we've shot fairly well in other games from the line, but it's just something that we just have to keep working on.
Yep.
Well, theoretically, you could be undefeated. I mean, you're not that far away.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every game it was basically free throw shooting that doomed you.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but you fixed that problem.
And threes, we run again like this Whitefish Bay team. They just couldn't miss. I mean, they were just that Sherburne kid. He was grabbing,
he could flat
he was
out
grabbing
shoot.
it. I was standing in the coach's box, and he came on and spiked me, and he just grabbed it, and shot it. It's nothing but that. You can't. Our guys are just shaking, and they're. We're trading 3 for 2 every time. We're scoring 2, and then they're hitting threes, and there's. Same thing with West De Pere. There's nobody under the basket when they're shooting it. So, I mean, it's like the ball either goes in or we're getting a rebound.
Right.
So, and, you just watch it go in. It's like, wow.
See, and that Sherburne kid for Whitefish Bay, that's another kid. He played football for Whitefish Bay, and he's a basketball player. And that whole family, I'm sure you've seen the other ones, they all shoot. I mean, that whole family, they're bored and they're shooting basketballs right out of the womb in the Sherburne family.
Yeah. Well, I think the 3-point shots really kind of equalized the game over
yes.
the years, and it's taken the athletic teams, to a higher challenge to try and, we're going down, getting a fast break, we're getting 2, and then they're coming down, launching a 3 and making a 3, and it's just tough, it's tough. It's a shooter's game. I mean, it's more of a shooter's game than it is. And I personally think the 3-point line's too close for high school. I think it should be
The college line?
College line, yeah.
Really?
I mean, you should take a top of the key jump shot and get 3 points for it. Come on,
Yeah.
you could make those. In your
Well, let's not get carried away here. You never saw me shoot in high school.
All right, Steve can do it.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Either way, but I mean, again, when you talk about your style of play, though, I mean, it has its advantages, obviously. When you are as deep as you are, where you can funnel guys in and out, kind of like the Patino style of doing things, same type of style, when you are that deep. But at the same point, does it ever have that time where it kind of works against you as well?
As far as what, keeping guys
As far
on the
as
floor?
style, when you're playing this fast break style and you're going up against these teams maybe in the playoffs that are slowing it down, pass it around,
Right.
and it's almost like the Dick Bennett style of basketball, which a
That's
lot of these high
frustrating.
school teams play.
It's frustrating. I mean, but then they're doing, like Jason from Orlick, I mean, they tried to slow it down again in the regional game, and they did a good job for about a quarter, and we only had 2 points in the first quarter. It was like 7-2 or something.
My goodness.
And they were running that little, wheel thing,
Sure.
running around. And luckily we hit some shots in the second quarter and got a lead. And then we were able to, get them out of that, because they were behind. But, if you're not playing from ahead against that, they could have done that the whole game, and, who knows?
Right,
It's just,
absolutely.
So you've had many talented teams over the years. Is this the most talented team, I'd assume?
I'd say it's the deepest.
There
I've
you go.
got some
I
really,
agree.
really talented players, individual players, but we're not as, we weren't as deep. We had Nate Perry and we had, Timmy Conley, and that was a good team. That first team I had. That team went to state. I mean, that was a good team, but we were, we
Didn't have
those
the depth, yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple guys off the bench that were pretty good, and then with the team with Mitchell Farr and those guys, we had
Sure,
a good,
that was a very good team.
solid five, and then we had a couple guys come off the bench that could, but we were just not that deep. We couldn't get into foul trouble, and we weren't as big either.
Sure.
We have the size this year too to go along with the guards and the quickness.
Yeah, I've watched Racine basketball for almost 30 years. You've been here even longer. And
That's nice.
there we go, the old timers here. Then there's that young pup over there.
Yeah, well,
but no, my contention from day one is this is the deepest team I've ever seen in Racine. I'm not saying it's the best like you did,
Right.
but I think from like 1 to 9, I can't think of a deeper team ever in Racine than this one.
Right.
What about
Yeah, I
you?
believe that. A deep team. Yeah, but again, the level of play of all 9 or 10 of the first 10 guys that come off the bench and the 5 starters, it's something where there's not much of a drop off.
As you guys work through the season now, I'm still out of state and win the Southeast. I think everybody is. But now, what's going to be the biggest keys for you guys to win state? I mean, is it the free throw shooting? I mean,
We don't want to put any pressure on you.
Well, no. I mean,
I'm just
seriously,
saying, get in the state.
we all know you're in the playoffs, so let's move on from that. Everybody obviously is there. But now, once you get there at that point, is it free throw shooting and the perimeter shooting?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, the WIAA has made it so hard for us to get. I mean, the Division
tough.
One.
Division
teams-
One is a joke.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean,
To get to state.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we beat the number 2 ranked team in the state last year in the sectionals, and we still didn't make this.
Yep.
I mean, we still had to beat the number 3 or 4 team in the state for one spot, and then they let 19 other teams go. So I mean, this year it's another thing. We got Hamilton in there. You got a good Horlick team in there. You got a good West Dallas Central team in there. You got any number of teams that could slow the game down and upset you on any given night. That's in there. Look, Park gave us a heck of a run that night, it's just teams that are just come so focused on beating you because they know
You've got the target.
exactly what you guys know, and we've pretty much owned the SEC in the last couple of years, and these teams are not. They're circling our game
Absolutely.
as the Super Bowl for their season, and they're coming.
And you
out.
saw that with Park earlier this year.
Exactly.
I mean, Park, that was like almost the
Yeah. So-
state championship game for Park.
But do your kids understand that?
Oh yeah,
Going into
they
these
understand
games?
it. They understand it, and it's not like we've taken anybody lightly. I mean, we really haven't. It's just some of these teams are shooting the lights out on a given night, and we're struggling to make a 2-footer, or we can't make a free throw, and on some nights we're just. We got a big target on our back. I mean, it's just no question about that. And state, Don Shute, Bob Hayes, and the guys before me, we always just say, hey, you got to be good in the state tournament, but you got to have some luck too.
Absolutely.
You got to have the
no
ball's got to
question.
bounce your way a couple times, and a couple of those 2-point games in the sectionals, they got to go your way. Because there are going to be some close games at the end, and like you said, free throws could be a part of it, and fouls could be a part of it.
And the WIAA has to come to its senses and expand that Division I playoff.
Right.
It's such a joke. I wrote a column about this last year.
It's not a
Yeah,
joke.
it is a
they
joke.
don't
That-
want the teams from the southeastern portion of the state up at Madison.
That's a joke.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's all it is.
No, it's a joke. I mean, last year I wrote a column about this. Like you had mentioned.
Well, you guys said what I'm saying.
Yeah, the WIA will be sending you a letter this week.
recommend,
Yeah, but as I recall, there were 4 teams ranked in the top 10 or 11 in your sectional.
Right.
I mean, it was a state tournament,
One
essentially.
state, yeah, for one
and
spot.
only one of those teams is going to have a chance. I mean, that's a farce.
Yep. No, that's the WIA.
And if you take a look at the sectional this year too, you got Brook Central has been like number 2 in the state. You got us, you got King, you got Hamilton, and like I said, you got a couple of other Milwaukee teams in there. South and Riverside, they're pretty good. West Dallas Central is pretty good. I mean, there's some good teams in there, and you got all those teams, and it only takes one. They're only going
Right,
to let
one
go.
night, exactly.
So we're in the mix, but as far as us winning the state and all that, I mean, I mean, we'd love to get there this year. We were right there last year. We played a great game against Hamilton, but just couldn't. It was, they take a look at the teams that were besides Germantown. King played a great game against us and beat us. We played a great game against Hamilton and beat them. But we couldn't duplicate a second game against King 2 days later, and then King goes up to state and they can't duplicate another good game against McWanago and they get beat. So I mean, it's very difficult when you're just going up against tough teams, one after another.
And speaking of that, how impressive is that Germantown run right now?
Oh, they got it going pretty well. I haven't seen him play. One of my assistants saw him play, but he's got it going.
Because that team this year wasn't supposed to be what it was last year. I mean, this was supposed to be kind of coming down a little bit.
They lost Fisher, the big dude.
And the Whitefish Bay team that we played had almost got him.
Yep.
I was talking to their coach, and he said they were pretty close. They lost by 8, I think.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, because obviously they're going to be the favorite probably to win state until somebody beats them.
Oh, absolutely.
Until some point. And I think somebody will beat Germantown for the record. Steve Sparky, Fifer, along with Gery Woelfel. Racine Case Basketball. The target's right here, baby. Everybody's got it for them.
They're more than ready. Trust me.
That'll do it for another edition of Preps Basketball on Sports Junkies here at RacineSportsZone.com. Have a good day.
Oh, that was fun.